Hello. I'm Preston Foster. Coming your way with another episode of Waterfront.
Find him?
He ain't around these parts, that's for sure.
Oh, man, and here comes the skipper.
Carl. Carl. Billy. Billy.
Yes, Captain?
Where's Carl?
Where's who, Captain?
Carl, you remember, my son.
I haven't seen him, Captain.
Deb. Deb.
Be right up, Captain.
Where's Carl?
I don't know, Skipper. He was here this morning.
Doesn't he know we're pulling in a freighter Hollis at 1300?
Well, it's on the schedule. He must have forgot.
This is the third time that we'll shove off without him. Stand by to cast off.
Yes, sir.
Word you sent for me. What's up?
Sit down, John. Want to have a little talk?
It's more of that bilge about moving me in here so I can grow chairside calluses?
Only a stubborn Wallace like yourself would refuse the vice presidency in a tugboat company. But it's not you I want to talk about. It's about your boy, Carl.
You're not thinking of making him vice president, are you?
No, but I am thinking about making him captain of his own tugboat within the next year or so.
Captain? How about that? He'll make captain younger than I did. He can handle it, Zach.
Certainly he can handle it. I was convinced of that last fall when you were laid up. He brought in that crippled tanker right through the storm, slicker than a whistle. You're the only other man I know that could have done that job, John.
Well, he knows his business, all right.
But lately he's been acting like he doesn't care about his business anymore.
I know that.
He's even slack on the paperwork for the chair of land. He's even a week behind in his log reports.
I didn't know that.
Oh, confound it, John. What's happened to him anyway?
I don't know. He's got that faraway look again.
What does that mean?
Happens every year. One time he wanted to go to the North Pole. Another time it was a treasure hunt in the Caribbean.
He's too good a tugboat man to let him get away from us, John. We've lost 2 Herrick boys to the police force. Let's keep this one on the water.
I'll get him on that paperwork right away.
By the way,
He'll spend this Sunday pushing a pencil.
don't mention anything about this captain business to him. He's got to rate that on his own hook.
All right, Zach. Thanks.
I feel so peaceful and good after going to church.
Did you happen to hear the sermon, Carl?
Nothing is impossible if you ask the Lord's help.
Yeah, but you've also got to help yourself. The Lord's not going to catch up on the log of the chair of land. I suggest you get on it today.
Do that first thing tomorrow, Dan. I've got a date in about an hour for the rest of the day.
A date? You've been gold-breaking on a job, and now you tell me... Better break that date, boy.
I can't break it, Dad. This one's top priority. It's with Terry Van Buren.
That girl we had on the chair of land, assisting the day of the race?
Yep. The one that saved your cabin from burning up, remember?
Yeah.
We're going sailing on her sloop and then later going to her house for dinner. She wants me to meet her family.
I didn't know you'd seen her again since that day.
Yeah, she came down to tug docks a couple of times. I went sailing with her.
So that's what's been keeping your mind off your work. You must be daffy getting mixed up with Miss $1,000,000 Van Buren.
Oh, John, she's a nice, sweet, pretty girl.
In spades, Mom. It's a girl I could get serious about.
Serious? This girl spends more on silk stockings in a year than you make. She's been chasing you, and now she's got you all fog-bound.
If Terry's chasing me, I kind of like it.
I think she just has excellent taste.
She's already messed up your work. Go ahead, get tangled up with the Van Burens. You'll get in some real trouble.
By the way, I'm going sailing with a boy this afternoon. I invite him home to dinner tonight.
Oh, that's nice, dear. Who is it?
Call Herrick.
Herrick? What does he do, Terry?
Works on a tug.
On a tug?
With his father, Captain Herrick. It was their boat I was on at Regatta last month.
Oh, I'd forgotten the name.
Terry, isn't it a little unusual you're going out with this young man?
Unusual? What's unusual about it?
Well, I mean, why start something that can only lead to problems?
Problems?
Terry's old enough to pick her own friends, Emily.
Please don't make it embarrassing by being...
Terry, dear, you know we'd always show any guest in our home every courtesy.
I know, Mother, but... Well, just don't overdo it. And this is it, our home.
Your father needn't worry about going out of the stock brokerage business.
Why?
You can always open a hotel.
Oh, knowing Father, he undoubtedly has thought of that. We're terribly late, aren't we?
Over an hour, dear. We were beginning without you.
I'm sorry. Mother, I'd like you to meet Carl Herrick.
I'm happy to know you, Mrs. Van Buren.
How do you do?
And Carl, this is my father.
Happy to know you, sir.
My pleasure. Oh, here.
Thank you.
It's buffet. We prefer informality on Sundays.
I hope you don't mind my coming just for dinner like this. Terry wouldn't let me stop by home and change.
Well, that's quite all right.
How's the sail?
Oh, just great, sir. It's a slick little craft Terry has.
And this boy's a slick sailor.
It was rather like a busman's holiday for you, wasn't it?
From tugs to a racing sloop? Are you kidding, sir?
Oh, thank you.
How long have you been in the tugboat business, Mr. Herrick?
Oh, full time, about 7 years.
Oh?
I grew up on tugs. I was born right in San Pedro.
And he knows more about tugs than anyone I ever knew. Or boats.
Do you care for a biscuit, Mr. Tugboat?
It's my father who's known as Mr. Tugboat around the harbor. I'm Mr. Tugboat, Jr.
Is anything the matter?
No. It's just that you're one of the prettiest women I've ever seen, Mrs. Van Buren. I mean, for an older woman, for a woman your age.
That's all right, Mr. Herrick. I understand. I think it's quite one of the nicest compliments I've ever had.
Well, shall we begin?
Oh, this is the liner. This is the lead tug in the bow. This one in the stern.
I've always wondered how those tiny tugs can pull a great big ocean liner. But how do they get the ship alongside the pier?
Well, the two tugs pull straight onto the pier, like that. The forward tug eases the bow in, acting as power in the bow of the ship. In the stern. Finally, the liner's docked.
Oh, Carl, that's fascinating.
You've learned enough about the tugboat business, Mother. Come on, Carl, I'll show you the swimming pool. It's pretty at night.
Excuse us.
You made a direct hit. Right on the nose.
You mean with your family?
Yes, of course.
I'm glad.
Why?
Means I can come back sometime and tell your beautiful mother more about tugboats.
Mm-hmm.
No, John. Carl hasn't been shaping up since our talk a month back.
He's tripped a couple of times,
He's
Zach. But
behind on his log work again. Not on hand when needed. Yesterday, they needed an extra hand on the Mary James. The dispatcher's office couldn't even locate him.
yeah, I heard about it.
I can't stand for this much longer.
His trouble's been a girl, but he's ready to settle down now. He really is.
To think that a month ago, I was going to make him captain of his own tugboat.
He'll raid a jet, Zach. I guarantee you.
I didn't think I'd ever say this about a Herrick. But if Carl doesn't snap out of this quick, I'm going to have to fire him.
Stand by to cast off, Sid.
Okay, Captain.
Easier to starboard, Carl. Carl, easier to starboard. Why don't you watch what you're doing? You know we need the business for the Sadler Overseas Company. These molasses barges mean a lot of money to Zach Morgan. You're up again most of the night last night, weren't you?
No. Pretty late.
Doggone it. Terry may be a nice girl, but she's following you up, son.
How do you figure that?
Well, you're seeing too much of her. You don't think about anything but that girl.
Oh, Paul, forget it. Van Burens invited you and Mom and me for a cruise on their yacht next Sunday.
Me on the Van Buren jet? No chance. Or your mother either.
Why not? Van Burens are anxious to meet you and Mom.
One Herrick mixed up with the Van Burens is enough. Too much. I'm going aboard the barge. Look alive and watch my signals. Dip, tell Carl half speed.
Okay, Skipper. Skipper says half speed ahead, Carl.
Right. Caroline. Hi.
See what happens when you tell a girl how to reach her on the boat? I've never phoned to a ship before. This is fun. Am I bothering anything?
We're out on a job, but I'm alone at the moment. Well, gotta go, Terry.
Go ahead.
Let me have it. I got it coming.
I'm going to try to talk that freighter captain out of filing a complaint against us. But this is the last time I'm going to bat for you. From now on, you can sink or swim on your own.
What?
That's enough.
You know, I think it'd be very pleasant to spend Sunday afternoon on a nice yacht, darling.
You want to go for a boat ride? I'll take you out on the Cheryl Ann.
I've been on the Cheryl Ann. Oh, she's a fine boat, dear. But let's face it, she's not the Van Buren yacht.
I'm not setting foot on that fancy floating drawing room, and that's the end of that.
All right. What excuse shall I give them? I'm going to see the Van Burens in a few minutes.
Oh, going out again tonight, huh?
I have to go to a party with Terry.
Don't worry, sweetie.
You're great, Mom.
Oh, John, you mustn't take on so. Carl's just going through a phase. He'll snap out of it.
I don't see any sign of it.
Remember when you were rushing me off my feet? And one night my dad finally asked if you were a paying boarder in our house?
Yeah, but you were my first and only sweetheart, and I wanted to be near you.
And you still do?
You know I do. I wasn't silly enough to lose my job over it.
Came awful close to it once.
Yeah, when was that?
When you took 2 extra days for our honeymoon.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm really worried about Carl. I'm afraid he's going to lose out.
Zach wouldn't fire him.
He threatened to.
A real sweetheart of a ship.
Too bad your mother and father couldn't come.
Yes, it is.
I'll show you the lounge.
Oh, I'll come along.
Can't you let him out of your sight for just a minute?
Since you two have a day off, how about some home chores? You gonna be around, Carl?
I was going into Los Angeles to Mr. Van Buren's office. I can go some other time.
Well, the attic needs cleaning and the rear screen door needs to be fixed. And my rose garden could stand some cultivating.
Why would you be going into Van Buren's office?
To see how a stockbroker's office operates. Mr. Van Buren said to drop by sometime.
Well, he did he?
Sure a lot of money in that business. Some of those fellows make more before they're 40 than I'll make the rest of my life on tugs.
May? May! May! Do you hear this? Now he's got that stockbroker business in his skull.
John, stop shouting.
You're a seaman. You got salt water in your blood. What's it going to take to make you realize that? You learned your job faster than anybody in this harbor. You were in line for top promotion. Now you're going to wreck it all with these crazy ideas.
Let me say something.
I knew something like this would happen when you got mixed up with the Van Burens. They turned your head. Now you're wrecking your whole career.
Nobody turned my head.
You're heading for captain. Zach Morgan was going to make you a captain. Now you're lined up to be fired.
Let him fire me. A tugboat captain isn't the greatest thing in the world, you know.
John. Carl, you shouldn't have said that.
No, he shouldn't have blown his cork that way. I only mentioned the stock brokerage business.
Darling, your dad's so proud to have you following his profession. And he's worried so about you might leave the tugs.
But I haven't left them, have I?
No, but you threaten to every year. And now this other thing. Neglecting your work by spending too much time with Terry.
Mom, this is the first girl I've been serious about. When you're really hooked, you want to be with her. I know darn well Dad didn't court you once a month.
It sounds vaguely familiar.
You and Dad will have to realize I have my own life to lead.
Yes, dear. As long as it's in the right direction. Carl, would you take a job with Mr. Van Buren?
I honestly don't know. Could make a lot more money that way. I mean, Terry and I could... He hasn't even offered me a job. It's silly even to talk about it, sir.
Oh, darling. When two people are deeply in love, all they really need is each other to be happy.
You're great, Mom.
He's just lost all interest in the tug business.
It's a shame with the ability that boy has.
It's money. That's all he thinks of, big money.
That's the trouble with the young men of today. They want the jobs with high pay, the devil whether they like their work or not.
Well, he thinks he needs a bigger income so he can marry that Van Buren girl.
What do you think we ought to do about it?
We haven't got much choice. He's going to haul anchor on the tug business anyway. Practically a liability the way he is. You might as well get rid of him now.
Hello? Yes? All right. I'll be down in a few minutes. I guess Dad really got fed up and went to Zach Morgan. Wants to see me in his office.
Sit down. Carl, you're a good tugboat man, but you got one bad fault. You don't always run on even keel. In order to do a good job, a man has got to love his work. And that goes double in our business. On a tug, a man has got to think about his job every single minute. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Bearing that in mind, you're fired. But I'm going to offer you another job because of your past record. Captain of the Belinda. That is, when you get your master's papers.
I don't get it. A minute ago, you fired me. Now you're giving me my own tug?
I said you were a good tugboat man, Carl. And I decided if you wanted a chance to better yourself, we'd give you that chance right here and now.
Congratulations, son. There's a pride in commanding your own ship you don't get on any other job.
Thanks, Dad. Thank you, sir. Mr. Morgan, I... Thank you, sir. Batten down my hatch. I gotta make a phone call.
You had the right idea, Zach. You sure made it work.
You know, John, it's high time we lured some young men into our business. And by golly, the next time we get a hold of a good one, we'll go to the limit to hang on to it.
Did you see his face when he walked in here? He really thought he was going to be scuttled.
Now, here's a Texas story that y'all sure to hear. And if a Texan tells you, it might take him all year. Now, as he tells his story, he's apt to brag a bit. If you don't care to listen, then you had better get. You can always tell a Texan, always tell a Texan, always tell a Texan, but you sure can't tell him much.
For a Texas deckhand tip, you sing a right fair song.
Oh, what have we here?
Champagne, compliments of the Van Burens.
Oh, nice. Mother and Daddy wanted to part in the celebration, even though they couldn't get here. I hope you don't mind.
I can't ever remember minding champagne.
I'd like to offer a toast to Captain, to be Captain Herrick of the tug Belinda.
Thank you.
I'll drink to that.
Oh, Captain John, I'm just dying to hear you sing a sea chanty. I understand you're just the end.
Well, batten down the hatch. I'll just do that for you, Terry.
Well, thank you.
That smart son of yours doesn't think I know who put her up to that.
You made a direct hit, right on the nose.
A dandy ship for an ocean trip was a good ship, Lollapaloo. The captain's delight was a storm at night which never dismayed her crew. The man at the wheel was made to feel contempt for the wildest blow, though it often appeared when the gale had cleared that he'd been in his bunk below. Then blow ye winds high-ho, a roving I will go. I'll stay no more, too long on any shore, so let the music play for me across the raging main, the restless raging main. Well, we hope you enjoyed tonight's story, and that you'll be with us next week for another episode of Waterfront.